Maybe we have some light sources coming through. Welcome to my channel. My name's Carl. I'm a Bob Ross painting instructor. I thought today we'd do a fantastic black gesso painting with some sun rays coming through the trees, and then we'll top it off with a little oil paint. So let's go up to the canvas. So up here I have a 16 by 20 canvas covered in black gesso. I allowed it to dry. And then we're going to take combinations of white gesso, black gesso, and then mix it up for some gray gesso. And we'll put some indications of light coming through, some indications of some trees, and then we'll get into some oil paint. So right here we have some white gesso, and I have a natural sponge. You could use a paper towel. And basically I'm going to start with the white, and I'm just going to I don't want this to be super thick. And as we go through this, each layer we do want it to dry. That'll make it much, much easier. So I'm going to think where a tree, kind of a tree shape, and then behind it is going to be a light source. So this is going to be kind of a bright area here. Yeah, I'm just thinking of indications, kind of blocking in here. Maybe something like that. And then we'll go in with gray and then maybe top it off with finishing with a little bit of black gesso. And that's going to allow the light to hit differently in various areas. Yeah, maybe something. And it's okay, like if this is a tree, I'll go back with some black gesso and reshape that. So that's okay. And these foam or natural foam pieces are really nice to create those various textures. So this is going to be the brightest source of the light coming through. Maybe something like this, maybe this. And look at this, this almost looks like some grasses coming through. I like that. And wherever there's white, that's going to be the brightest area. So maybe we just have a few areas here that come through. There. And the cool thing with this method is you can, let's say I put some areas of white on that I'm not super pleased with. I can come back with, preferably once it's dry, I can come back with some grays, some blacks. And again, I might come in here and shape the tree a little bit more with some black gesso once this is dry. So I've mixed up right here, we have a little bit of gray, so just white and black. And I'm just gonna tap in here and maybe, again, I don't want too much paint, so right here I have a little gray, little black and white mixed. Maybe out in the distance here. Just some indications of some things happening out here. And like I said, this won't pick up as much color because it's darker. And maybe we just have some trees or something happening out here. Yeah, and maybe we'll change the flavor of the sponge. My hands are going to get messy, but that's okay. Yeah, maybe we just have a few little things dancing around out here. So remember, you can do this with a paper towel. If you have a lint-free paper towel, like one of the blue rolls, that generally works the best, so we don't get any paper towel pieces in the painting. Yeah, and remember out here, probably a little darker as it's away from the light source, but I think we'll have some light rays coming through. All right, I went back into a little bit of the white, and this is going to pick up a little bit of the gray probably. It's mostly dry. We'll have this be kind of the brightest area. Areas just dancing around. And you can get so creative and have a lot of fun with this. I like that. It looks like there's just a bunch of grass just enjoying itself out here. And then I'm going to go back into some of that gray mixture. Yeah, maybe there's some bushes here. And again, this is kind of the most important part of the picture, because once we add the oil, you'll see how quickly the painting goes. And I have this little liner brush, just an old one. This is not a Bob Ross one, but maybe, yeah, look at that. We'll just zing some little grasses. Again, this adds just some different textures. I'm just doing little upstrokes. Look at that, just adds a little variation. All right, this is now dry, and I'm just going into some of the black gesso, and I just have a regular foam brush. And now I want to go in and just shape just a little bit. I don't need a whole bunch of paint. There. Yeah, maybe this tree is a little thicker. Maybe this branch kind of comes down. Yeah, maybe, and just some indications. Maybe there's some parts that you see of the branches. And I'm just this is very little pressure with very little paint. I'm just thinking, yeah, maybe something like that. Go into a little bit of the black gesso, and just here and there, we'll add in a little bit more dark. Just some indications. Like I said, this is kind of the bulk of the painting. I'm not doing thick paint. If you want to add a little bit of water to your gessos, that'll just thin it down a tiny bit, and I mean a little bit. Big strong tree. And then maybe right here we'll just do those some indications of some of those. I think we're going to put a little bit more dark out here. Just something like that. Just get some indications out here. Maybe there's some just overhanging branches that block some of the light. This method of painting, you really should try it, the wet on wet technique. I've had so many students who said they couldn't paint. And then after a painting class, they were amazed at what they could do. And I'm just going back into some white. Like I said, you can get carried away, but I really enjoy these types of paintings. Maybe if we just have a few extra light sources. Just thinking of where there may be some light zinging through. And then maybe use just the tip of it. Maybe we have some little flowers, just catching some light. So all the acrylic was dry. Make sure it's dry. I added a little bit of liquid clear, very little paint. You don't need much. And now this is going to allow us to put oil paint on top and move the paint and slide it and create a really cool sun ray effect. So I'm going to start with a little, so 1-inch brush, a little bit of Indian yellow. And these paints, besides the titanium white, these 3 paints are transparent. So we're going to go with these. Now, I'm just going to start putting in some Indian yellow kind of across the bottom. And you're going to see it start picking up right where the white is, the lightest areas. It'll really pop the colors. A little bit more. I don't need much. Don't need much. So maybe up in here. And then we'll mix in some of the other colors. Probably mostly using the yellow, Indian yellow and the phthalo blue. Create some green. But this technique is so cool. The acrylic is dry underneath, the black gesso is dry. And it just allows us to create those amazing colors, not worry about it blending or mixing. And you can be even more detailed than I was and spend all the time you want on shaping everything just perfectly. Yeah, and then now up in here, a little bit. Remember, the blue is very, very powerful. I want kind of like a green. Wow, look at that. But I want to keep this fairly bright. I'll keep the greens down onto this right side. So a little bit of blue, and I remember it's very little paint. You can see I'm just tapping. Hardly any paint. One of the rare times I say that in this technique. That quickly, we've created such a fun scene. And like I said, bringing this oil paint through here, it goes pretty quickly, and then you can move on to the rays, which is what we're going to do. Another 1-inch brush, clean and dry, and we're going to go into a little bit of titanium white. And just like we did before, if you can notice, very, very little bit. And we're going to start bringing out. And remember, the titanium white is opaque, so it's not transparent like the other colors. So we don't need much. Maybe right behind these trees, we have a bright light source. And we can create this glow. I'm just doing little circles. And this glow just moves through the trees, through the branches. Okay. Some more white. Again, we don't need much. Just a little bit. Maybe right back in here. Yep. You have a bright source of light coming through the trees. And again, be very careful. Wow, look at that. It's that glow. Maybe back here, maybe right behind this tree. The light's glowing through, and I'm just scrubbing in the paint. And then maybe right in here. Oh, that's so pretty. It's glowing right behind the tree. And it almost wraps around. The light kind of wraps. See the white that I got on the tree? It kind of wraps it. I think it has a really cool look. And then we can be very, very careful and just remember this white is opaque. Maybe we have some light sources coming through, like little rays. I'm going to go back in and brighten this area again. Just right under the tree. Very bright. And maybe we'll just bring a little softness out here. Just a little bit, not much, like hardly any paint on there. Maybe just a little bit, maybe there's a little mist coming through this time of day. It's picking up some of the green in the trees. We'll keep that dark up there. There we go. And maybe we have Just think of where the rays would live. Oops. And you know what? Maybe, let's get a little carried away here. Maybe we have some rays coming through the trees. Yeah, maybe they're just so bright. And I'm going to go back in with my paint. And we're just creating the illusion. Maybe a little bit more white coming through down in here. Just to brighten that a little bit. Yeah, maybe we have just a few zingers up here. Again, over here, very little paint. Just gonna pull the rays this way. And we'll add a little bit more of that sunlight right there. So bright. And I'm just gonna go in with some oil paint. And because we don't have much on the canvas, I'm just gonna put some indications. A little bit of white, a little bit of the Indian yellow. I'm just going to scrub in a few more colors. Not much. Just some zingers. Again, maybe there's some flowers just here and there. Just scrubbing in color. And then maybe in here, we'll just put some little bit of white, a little brighter, right by the light source coming in. One final big ray coming through, maybe like, yeah, something like that. Like a big one. Ooh, yeah. So again, I'm gonna go back to the dry brush. There. I tell you what, I'm gonna put in some grass here. I just see it. Sometimes that happens when you're painting. I want this to be pretty dark. So I'm taking a little alizarin crimson. Just a dark mixture, yeah. And I'm just gonna tap down here. There. And we'll cover these up. I'm changing my mind a little bit. Sometimes that happens. Maybe I'm just tapping. Yeah, maybe something like that. There. And maybe we'll just have some grasses coming through here. And a little bit of white. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just like that. Maybe we'll zing some of those at the, and maybe down here. I'm just tapping. Leave the layers. Maybe there's just dips and turns. And we can create the illusion and maybe shape around the tree. Look at that. And we'll get a little bit darker, a little darker down here. Yeah, and maybe this just kind of fades away. But it shapes the root structure of the tree. So I want this to be pretty vibrant, maybe out here where the light's hitting. So I'm going to go into the 1-inch brush with the light color on it. That was kind of my blending. And this is going to be pretty bright. So I'm just tapping. I added a little bit of liquid clear. Tap, 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 tap. There. And then maybe, yeah. And it's going to pick up some of the color, the green. And we'll kind of soften it back. And then maybe just a little bit here. And then it fades into darkness. There. We have the light maybe hitting that area. And then back here we just have some indications of things happening. There, I really like how the light comes through and hits those grasses. It's just something I saw when I painted this. I love how it shapes the base of the tree in darkness. We have some shadow colors, and then we have the highlights zinging with the oil paints. Well, I think we're going to call this one done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this kind of unique painting. Again, these black gesso paintings with the underpainting and then putting the oil paint on top, they're really a lot of fun. You should definitely give it a try, especially if you haven't painted before. Check out my website at carlvaughnartistry.com. Please like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel out. Let me know in the comments other paintings you'd like to see. Happy painting. See you next time.